Well, it's Sunday, the 6th of October, and this is episode 2426 of 301 Permanently Moved Online, a personal podcast 301 seconds in length, written, recorded, and edited by me, at the JMO. I have become a shape thief, pirating the real world, acquiring artworks and taking them home, walking past gallery attendants like a cyberpunk Thomas Crown, strolling out a gallery exit into a future that Microsoft already abandoned. Back in 2017, with Windows 10 version 1703, the so-called Creators Update, Microsoft included the 3D Objects folder, a place in File Explorer for storing 3D models to be manipulated with the 3D Viewer app, but obviously, no one ever used it. By 2021, the folder that once had pride of place in the sidebar was gone. Microsoft's vision of a 3D future hadn't taken off. But for me, that empty folder was a signal. One of my favourite memes about the 3D Objects folder is a Twitter post from @NotABigJerk. It reads, "I've never understood what future Microsoft was envisioning where 3D objects would be as important to the average laptop user as documents or downloads. Yet here I am, a few years later, a shape thief, quietly filling a 3D Objects folder of my own. I have an app called Scaniverse. I can point it at anything, a teacup, a room, or an artwork, and to the outside observer, with the same motions as shooting a video, make it mine. I can capture a digital version of a thing." The app uses Gaussian splats, a cutting-edge AI-driven method of 3D rendering. Instead of traditional polygons, objects are represented as floating points. Each splat is made up of these points and combines them to create smooth surfaces, offering a detailed organic representation of real-world items. Once mastered, it can capture intricate details of things with remarkable precision. No expensive depth camera required. It all happens locally, on a phone. Just as AI can currently generate images and video, in the future, we'll be able to conjure entire 3D environments from splats in latent space. But for now, we're limited by data. There just aren't enough scanned objects in the world to build a dataset big enough to train an AI on. Niantic, the makers of Pokemon Go, recently acquired Scaniverse, and I think their strategy is clear: build that dataset. With Pokemon, and before that Ingress, by turning the labour of mapping into part of their gameplay loop, Niantic had players map real-world points of interest, and they created a vast and valuable dataset. The same will happen with this scanning tech, potentially with huge implications. But let's zoom out for a second. What am I actually doing when I scan things? There's a paper called 3D Digitization of Cultural Heritage, Copyright Implications. It discusses how 3D scanning, especially when done by the public in a museum and not the institution, falls into a grey area both legally and ethically. A scan of a thing might not even be created enough to be covered by existing copyright laws. Yet, the object's original copyright might still be owned by the artist or institution. I also wonder how all of this is going to play out when more people start scanning things. When Pokemon Go first launched, people got arrested for trespassing. Is scanning the real world, pirating its topology, any different from snapping a photo though? People take photos of copyrighted things all the time, but what about scanning them? To me, scanning feels like a form of digital photography, but in practice, actually doing it, it feels different. And let me tell you how I know. On Thursday, I was at the Serpentine Gallery in London for the opening of The Call, an exhibition by Holly Herndon and Matt Dryhurst. The work, as they write in the programme, is a commentary on how the process of collecting data raises questions about the governance and permission of its use. One of their pieces is a vast organ made from GPU fans. Hymns generated by an AI diffusion model are performed on the buzzing and whirring of the fan motors. I didn't take a photo of it, though many people did. Instead, I scanned it, and it took me less than a minute. I pointed my phone at a thing, no different from shooting a TikTok video. The Call also features an interactive AI model trained on 15 choirs from across the UK. As part of the work, Matt and Holly created an innovative legal data trust, allowing all the participants to retain control of their contributions. A vision of collective data ownership, protective and very forward-thinking. Meanwhile, I generated data about their work without permission. I keep comparing scanning to photography because Susan Sontag thought that photography was appropriation, stealing without touching, merely a semblance of knowledge. But what's the difference between me and an AI model? I also mention photography and data because sometimes I compare people who think AI steals art to thinking a camera steals souls, but that's a whole other rant for another episode. With new cultural technologies like AI, the ethics and ownership of data are more important than ever. Who produced it? How was it produced? Where and why? I actually, personally, don't think that the current conversation should be at the level of individual artists or about individual works. Instead, it should be about culture's archive in totality. Holly and Matt's data trust is the most important part of their exhibition. It challenges us all to think collectively about our collective data rights, not individual rights. This is the sharp edge of the current AI conversation.